Walt Disney's 1950 classic Cinderella seems to have become a rather controversial film over the years. This early Disney princess is often criticized for her passive and non-reluctant nature, a weak protagonist and a bad role model for little girls. These last few years, however, the critics have become the criticized, claiming unreasonable expectations are set on Cinderella to display her strength, and that the character does not always need to inhabit these qualities to be an aspirational person. What I seek to do in this video is to take a look at this dilemma and give my view on it. I will also present another take on this film's representation of Cinderella to answer the question: do Disney's Cinderella ultimately bring with it a bad and outdated message? Cinderella is a story about a parentless young woman who manages to escape the abuse of her stepmother and stepsister by marrying a handsome prince.
Goodbye!
No, wait. Come back.
The criticism of the weak female representation comes from Cinderella's compliant nature when it comes to her abusers. Never throughout the film does Cinderella defy her abusers.
But I was only trying to—
Silence!
No character arc leading her to stand up against her evil stepmother, only escaping by marriage, going from one dependency to another.
No, wait. Come back.
She becomes a passive protagonist who have other characters do the hard work for her happy ending.
The dream that you wish will come true.
The counter to this is that Cinderella's strength lies in other areas, and that the themes and messages of this film does not have anything to do with that anyway. It's about empathy and compassion. Cinderella is saved in the end by her animal friend she has shown such kindness and compassion for throughout the movie.
Oh, the poor little thing scared to death.
She manages to withstand all the labor and abuse she's forced through without it corrupting her kind heart. From this perspective, Cinderella suddenly seems to represent inner strength and hold a multitude of aspiring qualities. Even though I personally agree with many of these points, there is something beyond Cinderella's passive role and development that troubles me. The message in Cinderella is that kindness and hard work will be rewarded in the end, a common one for these early Disney princesses. Seeing Cinderella in this film always putting on a smile and diligently do her chores without ever openly disobeying her stepmother makes me ponder the thought that this also is supposed to play a part in the film's message. That Cinderella's lack of defiance is supposed to be seen as an admirable attribute, accepting the tough labor without complaint and with an optimistic outlook. To be honest, it gives me creepy vibes of middle-aged men sitting in a room coming to an agreement what the best version of a woman really is. Cinderella, a kind, compassionate young woman who also doesn't object when put through house chores. The prince is such a lucky man.
No, wait. Come back.
Another thing I find a bit weird is how the film almost presents it like Cinderella has to marry the prince whether she wants it or not.
And if the shoe fits, bring her in.
Yes, Your Majesty?
It's just lucky, I guess, that Cinderella feels the same way after half a night together.
No, wait. Come back.
I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative. Jokes aside, I think this little quirk reinforces the feeling that Cinderella moves from being owned by her stepmother to being owned by the royal family, removing any sense of individuality left in the character. All of this is what makes me ultimately have a negative view of Walt Disney's Cinderella. The character may have some important aspirational characteristics children can look up upon, but these other factors really overwhelms the story with outdated gender ideals. Because of this, Walt Disney's Cinderella does unfortunately not hold up in my book. But what do you think? Should Cinderella still be considered a beloved classic? Or does it deserve this modern scrutiny? Does my reasoning hold any water? Or is it just misled? Please do share in the comments, and remember to subscribe for more of this content. Follow me on Twitter, Svari28. Thank you, hejdå.
But I was only trying to... Silence!